Shalom Israel. This is Officer Qadash, Greenville, South Carolina class. We're teaching Lashawan Qadash Friday night again, as we've done before in the past. We're teaching Paleo and Assyrian to our blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. With ISUPK, start off 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana, where we teach blacks and Hispanics and Native Indians. We are and make up the 12 tribes of Israel. We're not affiliated with any other group. If you're not in the ISUPK, under Commanding General Yohana, start off 1969, you're not in the truth. So get in the truth. While we're out on the street, we're preaching, we're teaching, Salaki. Pick up a flyer, Israelite School of UPK, www.isupk.com, and get a flyer, call our school, whatever you got to do, participate and get into class. We're glad you guys are here. Glad you guys understand that we're here for the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians for our classes. That's what we're here for. Let's see, there you go. Okay. We're here for our people. You know, we're not here for anybody else but Israel. We understand that we need to separate and gather ourselves together. That's the only way we're going to get ourselves together as a nation, is to separate. So we're going to start off today. Of course, we'll go back over the biblical 18 nations, the biblical name, the Hebrew name, and the Paleo translation like we did last week. But the first thing I would like to say is the first thing we've learned in Hebrew. We learned good evening. It's one of the things that we've learned in the past. And for the men, for the male, you say good. The translation for good is tawab. So it's tawab arab. Tawab arab. And of course you use we're going to go over the Hebrew characters that we use to make these words in our translation, that we so that when you read them, you begin to understand a little better. Because I know a lot of times people Slaki for a moment. Yeah, okay, good. Hold a minute. Let's see, Slaki. Okay, there we go. A lot of people, they wonder, how do we come up with the translations? Well, that's how you do it, by coming up with the translation. You use the Hebrew alphabet characters on the chart here. And of course, you can write your chart out. Some people have their own personal chart. All they have to do is just write what I have on the board. You'll have your chart. That's how I learned. That's how you should learn. So the first thing we'll do here, we'll say Tawab Arab. And of course, we'll translate this for the male real quick before we get into the characters. In Hebrew, you have 22 characters. Okay? You have 2 vowel sounds, more or less. 2 vowel sounds and 22 characters. So you want to say Tawab, of course, let's go into the character. Let's find it on the chart and get used to doing this. That's what I'm trying to get you to get used to using your chart. And we'll start off with Paleo in the red of translation. Tawab, put that in your vocabulary. Tawab means good, and Arab. And of course, you want to say good morning, it's Tawab Bawakwa. And for the female, it's Tawaba Arab and Tawab Bawakwa. Okay? So, Paleo, Wa Assyrian. Wa is and. So, you're going to use in Assyrian and Paleo, the translations will use that understanding. So we'll say Tawab, and you use it. Let's find the T. Let's find the T there in Assyrian over here. See? Ta. So we'll say Tawab. Let's find it right here. Here it is right here. That character right there. So we say, well, let's write it in blue here. Tawab. That's T. That's Ta. That symbol looks like a shield, you know, look like a shield that we use to protect ourselves with in war. That's what we are. Obviously, Qadash, Shapar, and all the other soldiers, you know, we go out for battle every weekend, so we have to learn how to protect ourselves. So that looks like a shield. Tawab. So we're going to say Ta, there's the T and the A. Now we're going to look for Wa. Well, there it is right there. We're going to look for the Wa. Of course, we're doing this in, there we go. We're doing this in Paleo. I'm sorry, should have used the red. I don't know what I was thinking. It's lock it. We'll change them real quick here. We'll go here. Ta. Then we go Wa. There we go. Trying to keep, so you'll see in different colors right there, people, you'll pick it up real quick. So log into class, participate as you're in class. Participate, log in the, we're on 2 channels, Facebook and YouTube channel, but ISUPK. So come on into class and participate. Tawab, then of course we have to use a ba, and there's your ba right here. Ba, there we go. So we kind of curl it a little bit like that. Because if you leave it straight down, it'll look like an R. That's Tawab. Ta-wa-ba. Now, to finish this, we'll have to have, we'll erase this star here, we'll do that a little bit later. To finish this, you have to have, we're saying, of course, good evening. That's what we're saying. We'll say, you know, you can say like shalom. Shalom, my brother. Shalom, my sister. Good evening. Okay? Good evening. So, there. Shalom. Shalom. Tawabara. Okay? And of course, shalom means, if anybody, let's see, we'll get to that in a second. We'll get to what shalom means. Okay. Tawab. Now, in the Paleo, we have what's called connectors. Of course, and we're going to go over this so that people can understand, because I heard a lot of people saying, well, how do you memorize how do you memorize all the characters? Well, you have to develop your own acronyms, you know, a way of understanding how to memorize something in a picture form. Like I remember this acronym right here for the shield, and Wa is like you have like a sound like a Y, a Wa, right here, like a Wa. Looks like a Y, Wa. And Ba is like an upside down B. So that's how I learned it. Tawab. And we're going to go all over the characters so you guys get a better understanding of how to memorize it and develop a system for you. Okay? You have to develop it yourself. All I can do is help you, because everybody thinks a little differently on that. So that's why we do that. Okay? So let's do the connectors for it. And the connectors look like this. A connector looks like either that or this. Okay? In your connectors, we have Sister Adrian chimed in here on our YouTube channel. I'll write her down. She's always in on class, pretty much on time. Guys, I know you have your Shalom, Sister Adrian. Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shai, to all my brothers, all my Akyam. Yahweh Shem, all the Shem, Yahweh Shai, to all my Akwaf, all of my sisters. And she's from Charleston, South Carolina. She's checking in. But when you're doing characters, for Paleo they have connectors. And why do we use connectors? Well, we use the connectors so that we can break the word down a little bit further. In other words, we say like ta, wa, ba. You got to know how that sounds. And then you got to understand, if you have A and I as your vowel sounds, well, you see this A right here. is already in tawab, ta, wa. Those sounds are already in what you would call the alphabet. They're already in the character themselves, ah. In this case, we have ta, ta. In this case, we have wa. See that A on the end of that? That's already built into your vowel sound right here. That's the whole point. Okay? And we'll get a better understanding of that when we're doing Hebrew. So, let's put this connector on here. For the male, tawab. So, because we'll have ta, like that. That is called an independent independent, right, like that. Sorry about that. It's like independent sound. Why? Because it's by itself. Ta. You don't say tawa. You say ta. That's what you hear. And there are exceptions to the rule here when we're doing this. But in this case, it's ta by itself, independent. And then we're doing wa. Okay? But when you hear that wa sound, what else do you hear with it? You hear the B with it too, so you have to join them together. And of course, we'll do this real quick here because, you know, so for some people it's a refresher, but some people need to go over this again plenty times, you know, and me too, because I forget some of these. But that's the whole point. That's the in the week, you know, you never know what we're going to be doing because I want to make sure you guys understand. Ta, wab. So we're going to join them together, and that would be called a dependent connector. Dependent. Okay? There it is. Dependent connectors up here. Dependent connector. Ta is independent. Got a sound of its own. Wa, it has a sound of its own, but you want to join together with it. Wab. You want to make it say wab. Now, how you make it say wab is make a dependent sound. Now, I can sit up here and say ta wa ba, ta wa ba, and that would be wrong. And if that's the case, if I'm going to say ta wa ba, then I'd have to put an A on the end. That's a whole nother word. It wouldn't say good then. So quite naturally, we don't do that. So you want to put a sound wab. You want to make it sound like that. Okay? And of course, tawaba, we'll do that one in Paleo. We'll say the same thing. We'll do that. Let's do that one in Assyrian. Because time permits, we can't translate everything. So let's find that same ta. You know, if you're not sure, just look down here. Just look on your chart. If you don't have it, that's your time to make sure you have that chart at home or wherever, you know, like that. Okay? All right, there. Ta, you know, then you have wa, same thing over here. You develop your wa. It's right here. It'll look like this. That's your wa. And of course, you don't have connectors in Assyrian. That's why I'm writing it in blue, because Assyrian will keep that in blue so you guys understand. You don't have connectors in Assyrian. All you have is ending characters. Okay, so I'll ask Adrian, since you're on there, do you see any ending characters in Tawab? Is there any ending characters in Tawab in Assyrian? Type a 1 or type yes or no, I'm sorry. You just type yes or no. Do you see an ending character or not? If you don't see one, then we don't need to address that. If you see an ending character, of course we need to address it. So type a yes or no. Do you see an ending character in the word Tawab? And of course, everybody we see online, everybody online, you can ask the same question. Do you see an ending character there? You can address that. If you don't see an ending character, let me know, yes or no. And Tawab, Sister Adrian said no. That's exactly right. She's 100% right. There is none. So therefore, you don't have to address it. So we just come here and just write the standard B like that because there is none. Just like that. Okay, Tawab. All right. Now we'll move on to Waba, Arab. Good evening. So we'll say, let's move this over here. Let's write Ta in Paleo. We'll write it Rob here in a second here. Ta. Well, let me see. Before I do that, maybe I need to write a Rob before you won't misunderstand it. So you'll be able to write it in your notes properly. Okay, let's go ahead and write it Rob. Arab. Let's write that. We're dealing with the male here. Let's write Arab. Hebrew, you write right to left, so it'll look like this. It'll look like this. In Assyrian, it'll look like this. That's an I right there in Hebrew. Okay? Why? Because that's what's on the chart. It's right there. I. And then we have Ra. That sound. So we'll come here and we'll do this. Like that. Ra. And then of course we have Ba. We have the Ba. So we'll do this. Okay. Well, running out of ink on that one. Let's go to this one right here. Ba. Okay? Like that. And that is the word Tawab Arab. Okay? So let's finish it out in paleo here. Let's go over here. Let's see. We got enough room here? Yeah, we got enough room. We're going to make room here. There we go. Okay. Now let's write right beside it. This is an Assyrian right here, of course it's in blue. Then let's write Arab over here in Paleo. So we'll write, it'll look just like this. O, it'll look like an O. All you're doing is grabbing the character that fits the sound. Grab the character that fits the sound. That's all you're doing. Okay? So it's I, Ra. Okay? Then you come over here and put the Ba. Just like this. And then you have the connectors that go with it. So you have I for the independent connector over the I. And a Rab, that's right here. I. Then a Rab, you want to join those together. So that's called a dependent connector. So that's why we do this. We join the R and the B together with a dependent connector. We'll let you write there in your notes. Tawab Arab, I noticed as we were writing it, you guys, especially the Akwafs, the women were writing down Tawab Arab, good evening. That's good. Get practice it. Practice, use as much Hebrew as that you can. That way you'll understand. So now let's do Tawaba. Man, we already know what a Rab is, so we'll have to do that one. Let's do that one. Let's do Ta right here. Wa. Okay. Then we got Ta Wa, and then of course we're going to write Ta Wa, and then we're going to write Ba. Then we have to write Ha. We have to write a Ha sound. The Ha sound, it looks like this. That character looks like that. Ha. in Paleo. And of course, it'll be pretty much the same thing. Ta, this is for the women. For female, we have female right here. We have male right here. Ta wa ba, good evening. Ta wa ba. Okay, instead of saying tawab, you have ta. You don't say tawaba, it's tawaba. So we're gonna break it down a little different. Ta wa, then you join the connector. So let's break it down. Let's say it like this. Ta, independent connector, independent sound. Wa, right here, independent connector, independent sound. And then you join ba together. Ta wa ba. Tawaba. You want to say tawab-ah. You want to say tawaba. You'll be joining this as a dependent connector right there, the ba. So write that in your notes. Even if you already have it, that's fine. But if you don't, that's how you write it in Paleo in red. We said again, the red is Paleo, the blue is Assyrian. That's how we do this, okay? All right. Let's give you a few seconds to write that one down. That's good evening. That's the first thing we'll do. As we go on in Lashawan Qadash, what we're trying to do is develop and build a vocabulary. There's a few adjustments here. Okay. Ooh. There we go. Let's lock it. Get the camera straight here. Trying to develop a few vocabulary words, and this is it. So we'll erase that off the board. Just want you guys to get an idea, and we'll get into the characters, and then we'll get into some separate and gather, because we want to reiterate. Let's do this. And of course, shalom means peace. So that's a good way when you greet somebody, say shalom to Wabara. That's good evening. And now you know how to write it out. Now you know how to sound it out. And that's what we're trying to do here. Okay? So let's write a few characters. Sometimes we haven't gone over this in a while. So we'll spend just a few seconds on this. Well, a little bit of while, I'm sorry. So we'll say ah. And then when you're doing your characters, you know, let's take the time to write them correct. Straight line up, down. Like that, like this. The ba actually looks like an upside down B. The A, or the ah, looks like a sideways A. That's how you can remember. I remember some people ask me, well, how can you memorize that? How do you put it to your memory? Well, let's start off. Let's do a little bit at a time. The A, if you notice, is sideways right here. Okay? The B looks like an upside down B if you just turn it. So that's a good way in Paleo to do it. Now, the Syrian, you're about on your own to memory. It don't rhyme or reason to that. And so, I mean, it's just hard to remember sometimes. So that's ba, okay? So far, so good. Okay, the A is a sideways A. The B in Paleo is an upside down B. And the A here is just, as I was told before, it's like a chicken scratch. The Syrian, that's what we use in our captivity. So we'll do this. So let's go with God. God. You know, I've seen God written like that. I've seen it written at another angle. But that's your God. Maybe it looks like a golf club, so you can say God. That's the way. Try to write these acronyms down, they'll help you some. God. And of course, da, that's what most of us wear in our shield. Because if you take two das like this, that is actually the da wa da. Who can tell me online what does da wa da spell? If I put two das together like that, that's a good way to memorize the D. What does that spell? How does that, if I say da wa da, and I'll write it out for you. Matter of fact, I'll write it out for you. I'll write da wa da. What does that spell? And what does it look like? Because that's exactly what this is. It's a da wa da. But what does it spell? What name or what is it spelled? Da wa da. Give you a few seconds there to think about that one. What does da wa da translate in English? What does it spell? What does that spell in English? The da wa da. David. Very good. Sister Adrian. She says David, and she's 100% correct. So that's David's name. It's like putting his signature. It's like, like my name is Qadash Shapar, like Qadash Shapar in English or something like that, but it would look like Kazakh, it would be like that. And then I would put a Shah, so I would say like, I don't know, like that. Or something, I don't know, but that's how I would do it, maybe. But David was ingenious enough to understand that if he took the dalet or the D, this D here, and put it in on itself like that, it's called it would be a da. Let's break this word down. Da. That's the 1, 2, the fourth letter of the characters. Wa simply means and. And then you have da and da. That means that's his name. David. Da wa da. Two das, da and a da he said, this is how you pronounce my name. That's David. Okay? One of the priests and prophets, son was Solomon, David. So that's how you pretty much look at David. That's how you look at Da. And I'm trying to get you, like I said, I'm trying to get you guys to understand how to write the characters so you'll memorize them. Okay, Da, okay, let's write the Ga. The Ga looks like if you look at it real slightly here like that, like somebody, a walking man or something. If you guys have anything else, tell me what it looked like to you. Like a man walking. That's what the Ga looks like in Assyrian. And the paleo looks like a golf club. We just explained what the Da looks like. And of course, we'll have it over here. In Assyrian, the Da looks like this. Don't really make any rhyme or reason. That's just that's just the way it is. That's just the way it looks. Da wa da. That's just the way it looks. Just looks like a stick with a line across the top. But the main thing you got to understand when you're doing that D is make sure that the heaviness of it goes over to the left. And you have to practice these all the time, okay? So it'll look like that, okay? Let's move on to the next one. Ha, a ha, the ha. Let's see, how do I remember the ha? You know, the ha, I don't know. This is like a, it's kind of hard to say. Looks like a comb to me. Ha. That's the only thing I can say. It looks like a comb. And of course, the ha over in the Syrian will look like this. One thing you got to remember, there's a space. It does not touch up to the top. Looks like a 7 with a space in between and another line separated. That's the ha. Of course, we have a wa. The wa looks like a Y or wa. It's almost sound like it looks. Y, wa, Y, Y. That's what that one looks like, okay? And of course, you have this look here. That's a wa. It's like I said, some of the Syrians, some of these things you're on your own pretty much. I don't, you know. Then you have za. Looks just like it says it looks, because the za, you know, you look at it like that, the z and the z look just alike, za. Because that's what it, you know, that's how you can tell. This language is very old. So that tells you, even, you know, za, they kept some of the same things there, it looks like it. And of course they rearranged some things, so za, and over here we'll have a z. I guess in Assyrian they were just searching for characters to do. And that's how they came out. Za. Okay? Awazaka. All right? Then we're going to have a ka. And the way to get into class is just basically copy these down. Always come to class with a pencil and a piece of paper, so you can rewrite these over. I've written these down maybe 100 times in a week, in a day, probably 10 times. The chart, just keep going till I can memorize them. You know, I don't need the chart necessarily, but the point is, you know, it's there. It's there if you need it. You get away from it, and you have to practice it. And then the ka over here looks just like, with a little stem there, it looks just like the ha. The only difference is the ha has a space in between it right there. So don't mistake the two. So we have a, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, zaka. And there we go. We have a lay down A, backwards upside down B, I'm sorry. Then a ga looks like a golf club, and da looks like a dawara, two dawaras turned on itself, just a triangle basically. A wa looks like a comb, a ha looks like a comb, a wa looks like a Y, and that's what it's shaped like, a Y, wa. You can write these acronyms down, that's what I'm trying to do. And the za looks just like that. And the ka looks like a ladder. Okay? So, down here, the Syrian, walking man, look like a pi symbol, like a T, and like another pi symbol for that. That's the way you can do it. Okay, all right. And then you have ta. Looks like a shield. Like a shield that you would take out for war. And then a ta over here looks like some sort of U. I have no clue why they did that, but that's what it looks like. Looks like a U. Okay? Let's see. What else? Ya. Now ya is like it's a weird, it's a looks like a laid down Z. A laid down Z with a stem in it. I mean, if you don't put a, if somebody's, an officer said, if you don't put a kickstand on there, it'll fall over. So, you know, maybe you can use the yah like that. Okay, there it is right here on the board, right there. And then of course, in the air, you have to make sure you keep the symbol here like that in the air. You can't let it drop down below to the bottom here for the yah. We use yah a lot. You have Yahweh Shai, Yahweh, and things like that. Okay, so you have to always memorize that. But you got a lot to remember here, anyway. But don't remember, just do over and over again. Okay. So I'm just kind of giving acronyms a way to memorize them. Then we have a ka. We have a ka. So we're going to go like this. Ka. Looks like a C with a stem in the middle. A C with a stem in the middle. Write that acronym down if you choose. Okay? And then over here, just like a C. Like that. Now, on ka, does ka have an ending character? Well, I'll ask the people online. Does this particular ka with the K, does it have an ending character or not? Yes or no? In Assyrian, it's going to have an ending character. Oops, sorry, it should have been blue. An ending character. Does it an ending character or not? Will we have an ending character in Assyrian? Will ka have an ending character? And if you have your notes or you simply look at the board, you should be able to tell me. I'm not asking you what it is, just tell me does it have one or not. Give you a few seconds. Does it have an ending character? The ka, we're looking for this right here. That ka, should it have an ending character? If it does, tell me yes or no. For ka. Does ka have an ending character? In Assyrian. That's important to know because it's gonna, you either do or you don't. If you don't, we'll move on. We'll move on and we'll go, you tell me, let me know. Yes or no? And I'll get back to that here. We'll have la over here. Right there. And of course we have, does it have an ending character? For ka, still waiting for that, as we wait for that. Okay. And over here, la, just looks like an L. That looked like a C. Sister Adrian says, yes, exactly. She's right. Exactly right. That will be the first one you come to. And I'll do that. I'll put the first ones. The first character you come to in the whole characters in Hebrew, the first one you come to that has an ending character that you have to worry about at the end of the word is la. Okay? All right? That's the first one you have to come to. And I'm sorry, not la. I'm sorry, ka. Salakia. Ka. Salakia. Okay, we'll use a green right there. It'll look just like this. That's pretty much what it looks like in the Tanakh. So you'll understand. Looks just like that. Okay? Like that. And that's very good. Very good. And then it's important to know that. So it's the first one. So, you know, we'll put a circle around. That's the first one that you're going to come to. And it's good to know. It's good. There's 5 of them, so it's good to know all of them. That's the first one you're going to come to is ka. Okay? Like I said again, use a C with a stem, a C, and then use looks like a 7. Okay? Because this looks like a 7 too, only it's got like a hammer on the back of the head right there for the dot. But over here in the ka, the first one you get to, looks like a 7. That's the ending character. Ka. Okay? So when you see it on the end, all right? When you see it on the end, you'll know that it has an ending connector when you use ka. Okay? Just know that. It has an ending connector. All right? Then we have, let's say, ma. Ma looks like, now this one is a good one to remember because ma looks like an M. It looks just like an M. Only it's upside down with a stem. That's a good way to remember because that's the way I used to remember. It looks like an M. The L looks like an L. That looks like some sort of handicap sign, but it looks sort of like an L. You know, but the ka, you know, got that C, sounds like a ka, so that's a good way to remember. That's how I remember ka. Ka, la, ma. Okay, let's get to what ma looks like in Assyrian. Ma looks like this. Okay? Sort of looks like that. Okay? Looks like this. All right? Ma. All right? Now, although I won't, we'll go ahead and give you this one. The second one you're going to come up to that has an ending character is the M. The ma. It looks just like a square with a stem on the top of it, just like that. Looks just like that. You guys, this is about as perfect as I can write it today. You know, trying to take the time to write it out right so you guys can understand it. That's ma. Ma has an ending connector. And so it's the first one is ka, the second one is ma. Just so you'll know, okay? Now we're gonna go to the N. So far we have a, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ka, ta, ya, kala, ma. Then we have an N, na. The N looks just like an N, only upside down. Sort of like a Y, but I just say it looks like an N, just like that. Okay? The na. And of course it looks like this in Assyrian. Like this. Sort of like that. Now that's kind of hard to figure out what that looks like. I guess it looks like an abbreviated C. If you look at it sideways, you can say that's a big old wide N. That's all I can say in Assyrian. Okay? So let's get back to Paleo, which is the choice language. Because it has connectors, you can break the word down easier because you can sound it out better. And it looks like an N up to the top. And of course it has an ending connector also, and it'll look like this. Looks just like a 7, a long stem 7. Sort of like that. That will be actually your third. That's the third. That is the third one. So when you get the ka, you skip the la, of course. The second one, ending character you come up to is ma. The third character that you come up to that's ending is na. So far, so good. Okay, let's get to sa. You don't use sa too much, but it is one of our characters. From me doing it. It looks like a sa. Okay, let's see. What does that look like? A saw. Maybe a saw. It's like a saw. Like a saw, like when you saw something. Trying to do acronyms so you can help memorize it. Saw. Looks like something that you saw. Now, saw something, okay? Saw. Okay, and then over here, this saw in Assyrian looks nothing like it's supposed to, if you ask me. It doesn't sound like anything, but it looked like this. Sort of like that. Sort of looks like that. That's sa. Okay? So the sa does not have an end connector. So far, we have, when you get to ka, you have an ending connector. When you get to ma, that's the second character that has an ending connector that you have to worry about. When the word is spelled like that, then you have to pay attention to the end of the connector of the word. When we get to na, you know, that's the third one, okay? So let's go over here. All right. I did separate and gather here. Sorry, it's lucky. We'll just take that off the board here real quick. Okay. All right. Okay, the I over here will look like this. We want to roll through this just so you can have a little refresher. Of course, it's sort of like a refresher so you can understand how the acronyms and how these done. The I, all I can say to you, it looks just like an O. That's exactly how it looks in the I. And of course, in the Syrian, looks like this. Looks like a laid down Y. Sort of like that. Like a Y that's laid down. Okay? Like a Y. That's what it looks like. Just like that. A Y, laid down Y. Of course, then we're going to have the pa. The pa, we're going to have it looking sort of like a, I don't know, like a pa sitting in a chair, I guess. Like this. Like a J. It looks sort of like a J. Okay? Like I say, orange juice. I, then you got a pa, and then over here, if you look at the chart, you have a pa. The P looks like, there we again, like a C, only with a stem, only with a little, looks like a more compact C, but only has something over here in the corner, so that's sort of what it looks like. And then when you get to the end over here, the ending character, it has an ending character, and it looks like this. It looks like this. It'll look like this, like that. Like that. Now that right there would be your fourth ending character. And you got one more, the fourth one, okay? So let's go to the tazah. Let's go to the tazah. So tazah, well, tazah looks like this. Looks like right there, ta, looks exactly like it's pronounced. Tazah. Tazah. Looks exactly how it's pronounced. Tazah. T-za. Tazah. Okay? And it, let's go to the Assyrian. The Assyrian will look like this. Sort of, kind of, it always did give me a little problem writing this one here on a tazah. Sort of looks like one of the, like that. Sort of like that. Okay? And of course, the ending, it has an ending character. And that ending character on tazah looks like this. And it's the last ending character, like that. It's the last ending character. So that'll be your 5. That's 4, and this will be the 5th one. There you go. So, all right, then we have qua. We're almost done here. We'll move on to something else. We'll have qua. We'll have qua. It looks like this. Qua looks like a fan or lollipop, or write this down as an acronym in your notes. Like some sort of lollipop, But when you get to the Assyrian and the qua, it looks like I don't know what this is right here, qua. I guess it looks like Yeah, like that. Sort of looks like a, I don't know, a Q in our language looks like that, or like this, like that. And I don't know how you get that out of that, but that's not our language, but our language of captivity. That's what a Q looks like. And I don't see what that qua or Q sound, I guess just remember that it looks like, okay, it looks like a line with a little a P, I guess. Looks like some sort of small P, but that's what the Q looks like, okay? There are no end connectors because we're done with end connectors. To reiterate, end connectors is ka, ma, na, pa, to za. That's 5. You have 5 ending connectors, 2 vowel sounds. So we've said that, okay? Then we have ra. Of course, you have fa over here too. Fa. Had to erase it there. Ra, you have this. Okay? Looks like that. Looks like a 4. Ra. Or, see how you say it. I don't know. But it just looks like a 4. That's how you can do it. Okay? As far as writing. And then the ra over here sort of looks like a 7, only it's got a little curved line, a little like that, sort of like that. That's what a ra looks like when you see it in the Tanakh. It's a bigger 7. It doesn't look like this. That's just like a standardized 7. This is like more of a cursive, like a, I don't know, some sort of cursive 7, I guess. And there's a 7 right here, but it's long stem, so it doesn't look like that. This ra here is usually wider. It's usually just spread out wider. Okay? And then, of course, you have a sha. The sha looks like this. And then we're almost done here. And then we have the sha looks like a W. And they look just alike, only one looks a little bit more fancier. That's all it is. That's really all it is. And the tha, of course, looks like a laid down cross. Laid down cross, just like that. Okay? All right? And then the last one that we have up here, we'll give you guys a chance to write this down before I erase it here. Give you a few seconds here. The last tha, it looks just like, we're going to take it all the way back like that. It looks just like, it looks like the ha, and it looks like the ka. Only it has a golf club stem over here. That's the difference. That's how you know the difference, okay? Like that. Give you guys a chance to write that down, but that's it. Just wanted to go over that again so you guys can understand how to write the Hebrew characters properly and how to get the ending connectors involved. You have 5 of them, starting with ka, ma, na, then you have pa, then to za, and that's it. That's 5 of them. That's there you go. We guys give you a chance to write that down. Okay? Give you guys a chance to write that one down, to understand it, make some adjustments here. But take your time and write it. But the most, I kind of did that for your acronym so you guys can understand how these are. A, sideways A, the ba, looks like a upside down B, so on and so forth that we went on. The L, the da looks like a golf club, the da like a triangle da with da. That's like a comb, that's like a Y, that's a Z, that's a ladder, that's a shield, that's a Z laid down on the side, that's a C, ka, sounds just like a C, a ka, a short C, ka, instead of a C. La looks just like an L. The Ma looks like an upside down M. N looks like an upside down N. Sa is rarely used, but it's there. It looks like a saw, you know, like you're sawing something. And of course, over here on this saw, that we have saws that look like that. Only they're like shaped round, that you saw like that. Sort of looks like that. So we can say that. The saw. When you get to the saw, just the sa. Think of saw. Sa. Think of the word saw. Now I know that'll help you right there. Okay. Then we have I. Looks nothing like an I. It's like an O. Pa looks like a rocking chair. What pa does, rocking chair. Tazah speaks for itself. Ta and a za. Ta and z up there. Ta za. Qua looks like a fan, like in the choir or fan. The ra looks like a 4. The wa looks like a W. I'm sorry, the sha looks like a W. It's locked in. The T looks like a laid down cross. Guys, give you a chance to write that. Then we'll move on to a little bit something else here. Okay? Give you a chance to write that down a little bit. In your writing, make sure you put down the acronyms. That's important. It's important to put that down. It's important to put those acronyms down, because that's what's the acronyms is what gets you the understanding of how these sound. You know, that's the whole idea in writing down. I thought I'd go over that, take the time to do that. Let's before I erase this off the board, we'll give you a little bit more time to write that. So we've gone over good evening. That's Tawab Arab. Tawaba Arab for the male. Tawab Arab for the male. Tawaba Arab for the female. You just put an I on the end for the female. So always going to have some different sounds there for the female sound. Just remember that. Okay. Let's see here. We got to let you guys write it down a little bit more, and then we're going to erase this here. We're going to move on to, let's see, and we're going to go to some maybe to some vocab here. Well, let's kind of give you something to go for your vocabulary. Okay, I'm assuming you guys got this written down, so I'm going to go ahead and erase this off the board. I did that for the acronyms, so when you're writing it down, you'll understand how to come up with the sound. You don't want to do this impromptu. You want to go and study it. I mean, you don't want to do it like okay, I thought of it. Just have it already in your memory. Know what these sounds look like. Know what these characters look like in Hebrew, in Paleo, and or Wa or and Assyrian. Know what they look like. There's no reason not to. So let's move on to let's find out one of our things that we have to do for understanding is try to relate it back to the scriptures. We'll say, we'll use Zephaniah 2 and 1. Turn to it in your Bible. Turn to it in your Bible, Zephaniah 2 and 1. I'll find it myself. So gather yourself together, O nation not desired. Is that what it says? I believe it is. Yeah, that's fine. Let's find it. Let's write a few words from that. Help you guys memorize it. Gather yourself together. O nation not desired, Zephaniah 2 and 1. So let's see here. It's in the Old Testament, Zephaniah 2 and one. Yeah. Gather yourself together. Yea, gather yourself together, O nation not desired. And we're not desired. Gather yourself together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired. And why should we be gathering ourselves together? And then why? Because all these other nations seek to kill us, seek to put us in chains or whatever on the street. We're slaves. You know, you got to understand that we're still slaves out here. So you got to gather yourself together. You know, you got to gather. You can't just join these nations. That's why we put down here the biblical names last week, the 18 nations. So you'll see, and we'll get to that in a few seconds, the end of it, because we had a class last week where we had to do that, you know, and we didn't finish it, but when we write down, gather yourself together, O nation not desired, then we write down the word for gather, if I'm not mistaken, is, let me see, I think it's kwabatazah. Yeah, no, that's yeah, okay, Shalak. That's what I wanted. Yeah. Okay. Gather, okay. Qua, ba, sop, or gather. Your bodies, yourselves together, Gawaya. Okay. Is that the one I wanted? Let me see here. Slakia, so let me grab something here. I was looking through. Let's see if that's one I wanted here. But that's what we're trying to do in class is separate and gather ourselves together so we won't be joining these other nations by any accident. You'll have the understanding of how to separate yourselves. Okay? Yeah, okay. Here we go. In other words, let's put it this to be, let's see, we're gonna let's write down, we'll gather ourselves together. And our hearts, I like to say, like, we need to be in order when we're doing things. Like, be in, see, what did I write down here? Be in order. Right there. You want to do it tomorrow? No, you want to do it now. So let's see, what's the translation for that? Let's see what we have here. Let's write it down here. Translation for, we'll say, haya, or be, or get. It's to be in order. That means, wives, submit yourself to your husbands. Husbands, make sure you let the Most High lead you. Haya. That's to be in order, okay? And of course, ba, it's a preposition. We're gonna say ba, haya ba. Be in. We'll use that preposition, but it's gonna go ba'arak. Order is arak. Okay? Like that. And we want to do it aitha, now. Not later, but now. So, ha, awa, ba'arak, tha. And of course, ba is a preposition. Okay? All right? And you can use it like, if you want to say, in order, you can say Ba'arak. You can put these two together. When you see this, like, matter of fact, let's go ahead and put it together. If I want to say in order, I say Ba'arak. I use that preposition. That's a preposition. So we'll say Ba, then we say Arak. Like that. So we need to get in order. Why do we need to get in order? So we'll understand. So our household, our Bayath, I need a better pen right here. There we go. Bayath. Bayath. Or house will be in order. We need to do it now. Now's the time. We got winter coming on. We got different things coming on. And so let's write, we're going to write the Hebrew out for this, but I just wanted to give you a little understanding. Gather yourselves together, Zephaniah 2:1. We need to get our act together right now. Not tomorrow. That'll be too late. Tomorrow, you always do things now. Have a plan of action for your bayah, your house, right now. Gather yourself together right now, not later. O nation not desired. We're not desired because all these nations, which we'll list the last few in a few minutes, all these nations sought to take us out of here. Psalms 83 is another good one. Those are the nations. Since we're talking about some of these nations, we'll say Psalms 83. We read about that in the Sabbath class. Psalms 83, those nations decide to take us out, decide to make us work as slaves. Esau, the leader, the ringleader. That's why I say now we got a solution for that. And our bayah, we need to gather ourselves together, O nation not desired. Be in order right now. Let's get, we have Bara, Shalom, sister, Yahweh Shema Al-Thah, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Bara, Labah, Bara. Oh yeah, we were in class last week. Good sister, glad to have you back. And others watching all over the United States, South Carolina. She's from Texas. From Texas. Okay. All right. So let's let me see here. Let's find out. Okay. Make sure I got this right here. I'm trying to go over some of these texts and show you how we need to get in order with our family, you know, with in our house, so that we can make sure. Let's see. Yeah, bear with me for a second here. Just write this down as you're going, guys, so we'll translate these in a second. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay, there it is right there. Just making sure. Okay, Bayaf, yeah. Got these spelled right. Yep, I do. Okay. The water, sir. Yes, absolutely. House, Bayaf. And of course, we'll start off with Bayaf, house. We need to gather whose house? Our house. Not so let's get Bayaf Nawa. I believe it's Bayaf Nawa. Nawa, let's look it up. I believe it is. Yeah, I believe it is. Bayaf Nawa, our house. Not somebody else's house. let's get our house in order. We don't need to be in nobody else's house anyway. Let's get our house in order. But you want to use, if I'm not mistaken, whose house? So we're going to use the word bayath nawa. It's a prepositional, let's see, nawa, like that. Okay? Possessive adjective, I'm sorry. It's a possessive adjective to house. And it's going to possess this adjective, and it's going to say our, like it's plural. So let's make sure, if I'm not mistaken. But that's who you want to be in order with your house. You know, not somebody else's possessive adjective. Let's make sure. Let's look it up here. Started with, I think it's plural for our. Yep. I always like to make sure here. Nawa. Yep, there it is. Our house. So you can say, yep, there it is right there. Nawa. Say Nawa. When you're saying Nawa, you're saying our house. Whose house? Ours. Our house. Worry about your house. Your sister, worry about your house. Your children. Get in line with your husband. Let him guide you. You know, let him guide you down the right path. That's what you want to do. Let the Most High work in your house. That's how you do it, by letting that man lead. It ain't going to work unless you let him lead. Period. That's what you have to do. Allow the man to lead. So it's our house by Yafnawa. Get in order. What are we doing? We be in order. We get. Be, you can say be or get. Haya, barak, ba'arak, atah. So the preposition for ba or in order. So I just kind of put the word together, ba'arak, ba'arak. And that's what you can do when you get into this Hebrew. Let's get some Assyrian on it. I'm sorry. Let's get some Paleo on it. Then we'll do some Assyrian to it right here. So Bayah is house. So we say ba like this. That's why I went over the connectors and all of that just a second ago, so you guys can understand where these come from. When you're using a B sound, there it is right there. Ba. Yah over here. There's that laid down Z I was telling you about. That's where they come in handy. And we're going to do the connectors here in a second now, because we're doing paleo, okay? And then we're doing Tha. There it is, way over there. Bayah. Of course, the plural. This is, if you want to know, it's a plural and it's a possessive adjective. I write it above it right there. That's what Nawa is. It makes house plural. Because most houses have a family in it, you know, not all the time. But you're going to have your husband and your children. Bayaf Nawa, our house. Okay? So let's write Nawa. Na. Let's do the Na. Let's say, we ain't finished yet, like an N. We say Na. And then we say, of course, Wa. Right here. There are no ending characters there, so you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about any ending characters right there. So let's put some connectors on here. We'll say Ba, Ya. Okay, I want you class participation, if we can. Tell me, if I write Ba right here, an independent connector, I'll give you this one. If I want to write Yaf, what would that be? independent or dependent connector. What I want to write Yah and a Tha. Yah and a Tha. How would I do that? How would I make that sound? Ba, Ya, Tha, Na, Wa. We're talking about the word our house. Ba, Ya, Tha, Na, Wa. What do I do right here? What kind of connector would I use? I want you to say, we can say, we write a 1 for independent or a 2 for dependent. What do we need to do this? Or do I do anything? Do I do 2 independents? So let's get a little tricky now. Don't worry about it. Do I do a dependent for both? Tell me what I do. 1 for dependent. 1 for independent, Salakia. 2 for dependent. Barala Ba, okay, Adrian, we'll give you a chance to also write. Barala Ba said we do a dependent. Anybody else online? Other sisters and brothers? So far, Barala Ba, Banath said you use a dependent connector for number 2. Adrian said 1 and 1. So let's see which one is going to be. Let's analyze this together. We have 2 sisters with 2 competing answers, and not really competing. You guys just learning. Adrian said Ya, Tha. That's what she said. Barala Ba said, no, we're going to join them all together. Like that. Like a little smile on the face right there. Okay? The answer actually is this. Here's the answer. Okay? Let me show you what the answer is. The answer is when you come here, you want to pronounce the word out. This is a good lesson for you. Ba Yath. 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 You hear the Ya, you hear this. You hear this right here, and that's the Ya, and you hear this together. You know, sometimes they're tricky, but in this case, we want to say instead of 1 and 1, Adrian, Bara Laba says join them together, and she's right. So it's Yath. So we want to say like this. Yah. Okay? Oops, got it over the wrong one, that's for sure. Yath. Right there. Yath. You want to join the Yath because that's what you're hearing. Like if I had Ba Yath without Nawa, that's how you have to look at it sometimes. You have to take Nawa off, which is the possessive adjective that makes it plural, our house. So you have to say Yath. So you have to join them together. So you have to say Yath. Ba Yath. Not Ba Yatha. Nawa. It's not Ba Yatha. It's Ba Yath. Okay? So it's actually an independent connector for Ba, but it's a dependent connector for Yath. Okay? That's how it's done. Okay? But give your sisters a hand right there. Both of you guys did an excellent job right there. Because the fact that you're turning those wheels let me know that you understand what's going on here. You know, I got something right, got something different when I was coming up as a young man. Trooper. Still get some things wrong as an officer here. But I'm saying to you, the way to do it is Ba, then you say Yath, just like that. So it's not 1 and 1, it's not independent. 2 independents, it's 1 dependent sound. Okay, there you go. There you go, sisters. Like that. And what you want to do, all you have to do sometimes is take the end sound off of there. Now what do you see? Ba Yath. Just like that. And that's all it is. And that's really how it's done, okay? So we say Bayaf. And then at the end, then we say Nawa. Now how do we do the end? Let's give you another one. Let's get big haunchy. Hey. All right. All right. Now let's do Nawa. How would you do that one? Now is that a 1 and 1? Okay, let's do it again. Nawa. Is that 2 independent connectors or 1 dependent connector on Nawa? Is it, as Sister Adrian said, Nawa, or is it one whole sound? Nawa. Nawa. It's a little tricky. It's a little tricky. And I'll pronounce it for you again. Bayaf Nawa. Bayaf Nawa. Bayaf Nawa. That's the trickiness you gotta listen to. You gotta listen to what I'm saying. Bayaf. We hear it right there together. Yaf, Nawa. Bayaf, Nawa. 1 and 1. Okay. I'm new here. Okay. Oh, there you go. Okay, I got you. I see what you're saying. New. Good. Very good. Say, where you from? Tell me a little bit about where you from, Big Honcho Ace. Where you from? Tell me a little bit about yourself. You know. Tell me what city you're from. Check in. You know, just let me know where you're from. Okay. Barak Bayaf Nawa. Baralaba has written a 1 and 1. So in other words, she's saying Greenville. Okay. All right. Okay. Where your people from? Let me know. Tell me what's going on. Adrian said 2. So she said Nawa. Okay. Okay. Bayaf Nawa. Bayaf Nawa. So actually, really on this one, I'm going to say this. Instead of saying, and I'll go ahead. I don't know if anybody else wants to join in on this. If you're saying Nawa, actually, really, Nawa. Nawa. You could say, this is one of those tricky ones where you can say Nawa, but actually really Nawa. That's one sound. Nawa, like Adrian said. Now you can say Na and Wa, but it's Bayaf Nawa. Instead of saying Bayaf Nawa. You don't want to break it up like that, because it'll sound like this if you want this independent sounds like this, to make it sound the way you want it to sound like that, that would be Bayaf Na Wa. It doesn't sound like that. So it's actually Bayaf Nawa. Nawa is because you don't want to break that word again, break it up. Okay, yeah, that's right, Sister Barak. Because Nawa is actually a possessive adjective, it already has a sound of its own. Nawa, Nawa, just like that. And so where your mom and dad from originally, Big Honcho Ace? Where they come from? Where they are? Where are they from? But if you could share that with me, if you don't want to, that's fine. Just let me know. But Nawa. It'd be one whole sound. That's how I would do it. So I would say a dependent connector right there. Nawa. Okay? Nawa. And that's how I do it. I mean, you don't have to, but that's because, and I get it from the understanding that Nawa is a possessive adjective. So it's Nawa. It's like one sound, like ba, then got ya, Nawa. Okay? Now some instructors may try to say na and then a wa, but you know that you'd have to say, to do it that way, it would be ba yaf na wa. In other words, you almost have to slow it down to say it. But it'll be like this, ba yaf na wa. That sounds better. So that's where we put hold dependent connector on that word right there. But Yaf Nawa, okay? All right, we'll move on. So I hope everybody understand that. And I'm not going to write it in Assyrian right now. I'm just trying to do the paleo so you guys can understand that, because Assyrian, all you have to do is add any connector if you need it. This case it's not, but at least all you got to do is bring your characters directly down and go from there. Okay. All right. So we have B, haya, or get. So we'll say ha like this. Ha. That's ha. Oh, wow. Like that. Okay? That's a ha sound. And that's what we're doing right now. And why are we doing this? Because we want to let you know, get our house in order. It's time to do it now. Get in order. Get your house. Whose house? Bayaf Nawa, our house. Okay? Let's get, or be, okay, haya. So let's finish writing it. Ha, and then we write a little laid down Z right there, like we done in the characters just a second ago. Okay? Ha, ya. All right? And then we'll have, don't forget that H hanging out there, right here. Okay? Don't forget that H. Gotta forget it. You can't forget it. So let's go over here and find it. Well, where's that ha sound at? Well, it's over here. Right here. It's the same thing as right here. Ha, ya. So it'll look like this. Don't forget that. You can't just say ha, ya and forget the H, because that's how the word is spelled. So it's like ha, ya, ha. You'll hear the end of it. Ha-yah, like that. Ha-yah. Ha-yah. And let's break this one down. Connectors. Let's put some connectors up here. Ha is a, and it's sort of an easy one. I'll give you this one. It's ha. Like that is a independent of its own. Ha. Just like you're pronouncing abagada ha wazaka. So you're just saying ha by itself. Ha. That's all you hear. Ha. Then you have ha ya. You hear this ya sound over here? You know? And that's right here. That ya. You have a ya right there. So, but you want to make this ya and the ha join together. Baralaba, so you say 1 and 2. That's, let's see if that's right. We'll have some more people online. We'll give you a chance to write it down. Baralaba says 1 and 2. So let's see if that's the case. Let's find out. And it's good. This is how you learn. This is how you participate. And this is how you get the understanding when you're writing these down like this. If you participate in class, you'll be getting this very quickly. Just like we said, we'll have some more students who want to take a crack at it. How do you do ha-ya? What connections do you tell me? What is it, 1 and 2? With 1, like I said, we'll put it over here. 1, being independent, and 2, being dependent. Okay? Ya, ha, wa. Okay? That's what it is. Yahweh. You asking me a question so I can catch up, Big Honcho Ace. And just let me, like I said, let me know where you from, what's your nationality. Tell me a little bit more about yourself. With anybody participating in class, that's not a problem. But 1 and 2, okay? So, ha-ya, ha-ya. So we'll give you a chance to 2, okay? Okay, good. So the next part would be like that. Ha-ya. That's right. So both of you are right. It's 1 and 2. So you have 1 and a 2. Very good. 1 and 2. So it's haya, and that's good. That means get, to be. Okay, and then we'll have the preposition is actually ba. We'll bring it over here down to the word barak. Okay? Okay, so you're saying you're African American, that means you are, and then of course I want to let you know that actually really, if I can help you out, Big Honcho Ace, you're checking in class, keep checking in class. If you're African American, what that really means, you're really not African American if you're black. If you're black, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you're not African. They come from Africa, and we're not Africans here in class. We're black, Hispanics, or Native Indians. That makes up the 12th tribe of Israel. Okay? So you wouldn't be African because Africa would denote that you are African. Ooh, man. Yeah, just trying to get you to understand. So if you check in class, you'll learn more in the ISUBK. See, Africa, if you're black, let me get a little sidebar here. If you're black, which is the tribe of Judah, there are 4 nations in Africa. We're not part of either one of them, okay? And they come from Africa itself. Just because they're brown doesn't make them the black people of Israel. You know, that's the tribe of Judah. We have 12 different tribes, and we'll get on that next week. But more than likely, if you are, I'm an African American black, then that's what that tells me. And if you look at the word, then you're probably black, just like I am. And it's from your father. You go from the seed of your father. Israel goes from the seed of your dad, not your mom, of your dad. Okay, both of your parents are so good. So you actually one of the tribe of Israel. If that's what you're saying, Big Honcho Ace, if that's what you're saying, then that's what you are. Israel goes from the seed of the dad. Okay, now let's explore this. Africa, to be an African American, those are 2 different words. Africa, Leo Cypros Africanus, when he conquered that land. What did you say? I did not know that, but I know now. Okay, good. All right. Leo Cypros Africanus, when he conquered that land, he named it Africa because his name was Africanus. So that's Africa. Those are the Africans that are over there. We're not part of that. We come from Israel. Okay? And then you have the water. Thank you means the water. We'll get into that too. Just stay in class. Keep checking in. Okay? And then American, we're not American. That's Amerigo Vespucci. So we're definitely not African, and we're definitely not American. So it's a misnomer. So you don't have to use African American in. Just say you're black, you know, or some shade of brown. We come in different shades of brown. The blacks and Hispanics and Native Indians of this United States. We were put here in slavery, and you find that in Deuteronomy 28:6. But anyway, that's the point. If your seed of your dad, Big Honcho Ace, so you're in class here. If your seed of your dad is black, that's what you are. Mother side, okay, that's good. But the seed of your dad, that's what makes you a black man. Okay? Christ was a black man. So if that's what you are, you know, that's why I ask you those questions. So you'll understand. All right, let's continue on. Dahama, very good. Very good sister. She's checking in too. I haven't seen her in a while, but I know she's been online. She's all these sisters and brothers here that I got in class. Very good. She is from Columbus, Ohio. Okay, good. She got her name. Good sister. We got some good sisters and good brothers in class. That's good. So like I said again, we went over the characters, and I'm sort of putting them in play here. We're using the nations that tried to destroy us in Psalms 83. You know, those nations they headed out by the Edomites or Esau. And we went over that, prompted us to do this. Zephaniah 2:1. Gather ourselves together. Okay? And then that's what we said in Zephaniah 2:1. Okay, well, what do we need to do? Well, that means you need to get your house in order. Now, especially the winter's coming up, get your house in order. So that's a command, come down from the top, from the ISBK. So our house, so let's say, Bayath Nawal. Whose house? Now, you worry about your house. This one right here. Nawa, our. Okay? Let's be in order. That's Hayah. And I'm doing it in Paleo. In this class, I'll use Paleo as red for those people who want to catch up. And Assyrian, we'll use blue. Okay? All right? All right. Okay. And let's go. And then we have let's do in by itself. The word in, it says ba, but we're going to use it as a preposition. So we're going to say ba'arak. So let's write that in Hebrew. Let's write that. It looks like this. In order to write Hebrew, you have to learn the characters first. You must learn the characters first, or this would look like gibberish to you. And let me take the time out to, let's see. Here are the characters. Those are the characters. Okay? We have, of course, I went over this, and we'll go over it maybe next class. So we're going to have new students coming in. A, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ga. In red, that is called the Paleo. It's the oldest language in the world. Okay? Then we have ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa. That's in red right there. Okay? And of course, right underneath it is the Assyrian. That's the blue. That's the language that we learned when we were in captivity. For our blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, that's what we were they took our sounds, our characters, and made their own. They took our sounds and made their own characters in blue here. That's where you get the Syrian from, okay? And of course, the ending characters are the characters you use at the end of the word. And of course, we went over that. And it's hard to make the difference between the two. I like the Paleo because it's easier. It's the beginning. It's the ending. It's the language that you use for understanding the connectors. Okay? And here's the other one. You have I, Pa, Taza, Kwa, Ra, Sha, Tha. And of course, the Pa and the Taza have ending characters also. That's what's in green. So you'll get used to this, and I'm just kind of going over that a little bit. We'll try to go over that each class. Okay, let's get back on Barak. Ba'arak. We put the preposition in before order. Order is Arak. So we just put the two together. I can separate them and put Ba over here by himself, but I choose to put Ba'arak. So write that down in your notes so you'll know that Bayath Nawa, Haya, Ba'arak, Atha. That's how you say basically your house, get in order now. Okay? That's what it's basically saying. I'm just taking excerpts from from understanding so we can understand how to answer some of these Bible that we have here. Answer some of the understandings out of the Bible. Why should you gather yourself together? Because you need to gather yourself together as a family. That's the main thing. So we say Ba, that's B-A by itself. I, over here, that's I, looks like that. Looks like an O, okay? And then we have Ra, then we have a look like a 4, remember? The acronyms that we were trying to use to show you how these words look. I tried to write down your own acronym, however you want to do it. Then we have a Ka, the Ka, and where is the Ka? There it is right there. Looks like this. I got this stuff too close together here. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay. Now let's put some connectors on here. You want to participate in class? Of course, I always talk around and give you some time. Yeah, we got a little bit of time. So we say ba, right here. Ba. Let's participate. I rock. What do I do? What connections do I use for I rock? By rock. What do I do? I said I for the single sound of ba. What do I use for a rock? Do I use a rock ka? I rock or a rock ka? Or I rock. What did I use? An independent connector or a dependent connector to make that sound? I said ba a rock. How am I pronouncing it? Do I say ba a rock ka or ba a rock? Which one? By that sound, how and what connectors would I use for a rock? I'll let you guys participate. Give you a few seconds there of understanding. And if you just joined class and you don't understand connectors, this is your chance to write them down. This little upside down U is what you call a dependent connector. When you know, and this is an end. I'm sorry. Jesus, had them backwards. Lockius. Independent connect. Independent. And this is dependent. Okay, there we go. Okay, Baralaba and Adrian and Sister Thalma, you can go ahead and put it down, and whoever else want to put it in class. Okay, she has 1 and 2. Adrian has 2. All right, we'll give you a few seconds. Maybe somebody else may want to put it down. If not, I understand. But that's the whole point. Ba rock. What do we want to do? Buy a rock. Ba a rock. Give you guys 10 more seconds here. So I see the wheels are turning here. You understand by repetitive doing things over and over again. So far 2 sisters have ba a rock. You use the independent sound for, I have it already for the B, and then the last sound rock or rocka, you're using, sometimes it get tricky, you're using the dependent sound. And that's how it looks for the new beginners, independent, and the connectors for Paleo Hebrew. There's 2 types of Hebrew, Paleo and Assyrian. Okay, 2 types. For all you guys, for all you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that join class, you want to get your name. You want to keep putting your name on the checking in on the register, so you'll get credit. So eventually you'll get your Hebrew known. You got Sister Adrian. You need to check in with the camp leader and get your name. I believe it's time, Sister, for you to get your name. Is what I was told by the camp leader. So check in and call in to the camp leader, Officer Natazar, and get your name. Sister Baralaba Bana, you already have your name. Sister Thalma, you have your name. Very good. And that's how you get your name, by participation. These sisters have proven themselves over time here. And so that's what we'll do. So we'll go ahead and do this. Okay, we'll do for Barak, Ba'arak. Like this. I, independent sound, and then you want to do rock, join all together. So you're right. You want to join all that together. So we use a symbol that looks like this. A U. Okay? And that's how you do it. So write this in your notes, and you'll get this. You'll catch on. Eventually you'll catch on to this. Ba-a-rock. And we'll do the last one, and then we'll be close to the class end right here. Let's find out Atha. We're doing in Paleo, of course. The connectors. We'll do Assyrian is this. Just simply just bringing the characters down in the blue and then put them in the the matching order of what you have in front of you. So it makes it a lot easier because it doesn't have connectors, except for when you get to the ending characters. You have to pay attention to that because in this case, Barak, if I was to do, well, I'll do that. Let's do that real quick here. Let's find out. If I was to do Barak in that, it would look like this. Ba, and then I would say Ah, and then I would say Ra, like that. Then I would say Ka. See that Ka at the end because there's a K. That K right there, if you look on the board, you're going to have something that looks like this. I'll show you. Like that. See that Ka right there? That Ka, you'll use, instead of using this blue C there, or that blue Ka, you'll use this green. That's the ending connector that you would use in that place. And as a matter of fact, I use green here so you guys understand. Ka. So it'll look like this. And the reason why I know is because when I read the Tanakh, the Sabbath class, it looks just like that. That's a whole nother language that we've learned to understand and read. We can read this. I actually read this, some of the other brothers and officers. You read this. Ba-a-rak. And that's what I would be saying. I say ba-rak. Then I look that word up and it says in order. Okay? The last one we use is atha. That's why it's important to understand this and learn. Builds your vocabulary up, plus it builds your understanding of sentence structure. And that's what we're doing here. Okay, then you have tha. Okay, and then you have ha. So we have to come over here, right here. We have to use ha, and there's ha right there. That right there, that one right there, okay? Atha, that's the last thing we'll do for class, pretty much. I think you guys get a tawab job, excellent job. So let's do the connectors here. Like that, I'm sorry, there you go. So we say I, independent connector, and then we'll say tha, we'll join it all together like that. We'll make this one sound, tha, I tha. Okay? I rock. Yeah. She's right. Where was I? Oh, she's right. I don't know what I was thinking, but she's right. A rock is a word, not I rock. She's right. Got that wrong. You're right, sister. It's I rock. That's one sound. She's right. Stand corrected. I rock. I rock. That's how you sound it. I rock. It's all together. That's exactly right. She's exactly right. Bara laba. Exactly right. I rock. So you say ba. I meant to say ba. What was I thinking? I already got it together right there. It is. You have right there. Let's do this right here. I got it up here. Right here, sister. I rock. Did you see that? Salaki, sir, you said I rock is all together. That's it. Is that a question you're asking? Because that's what I thought. I thought I had it already together. I rock. But ba is by itself. Ba rock. And I rock is one sound. Is that what you were asking? Was that a question, or is that what you were saying? Because I thought I had already put it together. I rock. Like that. Were you asking a question, Baralaba? So yes or no? La'a Khan? Wasn't sure if you were or not. Or were you making a statement? I don't know. Not sure, but I had it right here. I rock. Iraq. I don't know. I may have accidentally put in English up here, but down here the paleo had it correctly. Sarah, it was different on top. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right. There's a question. Okay. Yes, you're right. You're right. But it is to reiterate. I mean, to say it correctly. You're right. We're both right. Iraq. I had it right down here. Iraq. But I think I wrote it. I think I had it right here, sister. Iraq. And that's not right. In the English, I don't know what I was thinking there, but I wrote it down in paleo correctly. Iraq is actually one sound, so it's all together. That would be correct, sister. And you guys get a Tawab job. You know, give yourself a hand. Put the comments. Say you had a put it in the comments. Say you had a great class, and I believe you did because they had class participation. Anytime you have class participation, they have Big Honcho Ace there to keep staying in class. That's Sister Tahama. You always good to have you. Sister Adrian, Sister Barah, Labah, had you guys in class and did a great job. That's good. Okay. So well, we're going to do some security announcements here because I think we have class. We've achieved what we needed to do. Next week, you guys are very good participators, and I appreciate it. Always, you're welcome. Yonder Bar, Sister Dama, and all the other students. Okay, stay in class. That's the main thing. Sister Adrian, don't forget to call the camp leader for your. I think he told me to let you know that it's time to get your camp name there. I mean your ISUPK name in camp here. Okay, to our class. Very good. Okay, we'll have some security announcements. We are the ISUPK, started out 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for the new brother or sister. When a new brother or sister comes into school, they are off limits. For 6 months, they are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to the brother or sister. Okay, after 6 months, a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After 6 months, in which the brother sister, after 6 months period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. The tithes, which is a commandment, in Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi 3, 8 and 10 is in the Bible. It means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'asharah, okay? 10% of every penny or any increase the Most High gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. The priest funds, a free will offer for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. Announce holy convocations. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. The Passover course, which has gone by, we had it there for a second. We had the understanding of when it was supposed to be, but the Passover was supposed to be on the 14th day of the first month. It was supposed to be Thursday, April 9th. Of course, that's past 2020, but I'm sure they're getting that together. Exodus 12, 1 and 51, Leviticus 23, 4 and 5, 1 Corinthians 5, 7 and 8, and 2 Corinthians 30 and 17. Of course, the next holy convocation or feast day in the ISUPK, we have some coming up in September, Day of Atonement. Of course, we have the Memorial Blowing Day of Trumpets, and looks like we have the Feast of Tabernacles, and of course Purim later on. No, Purim is already gone. I'm sorry, Slovakia. And what else do we have? Feast of dedication. Yeah, okay, good. And those are the holy convocations to come up. But stay in class, be in class, stay in order. But for most of all that we've learned tonight, get your house bayafnawa, haya, barak, atah. That means get in order and get your house in order right now, okay? And then for that we say, Shalom, Israel.